On behalf of Osney Buyside, it gives me great pleasure to introduce Lindsey Matthews. We've worked extensively with Lindsey Matthews over the past 2 years, and he's now Head of Client Development and Managing Director at UBS Delta. So that's a big job title, Lindsey. What does that role and remit cover?
Absolutely. Well, thank you for having me. UBS Delta is a client portfolio management system used by our clients for quantifying risk and performance on portfolios. And my role as Head of Client Development is both developing existing clients, so training and education for clients, teaching them about the risk models and how the system has developed, and also developing new clients, new types of client and new geographies and new ways of using the system and making the functionality work for new types of client.
So client development and training. We're getting really good feedback on the training. But more to the performance and risk professionals, what are their biggest challenges right now?
Absolutely. Well, our clients are a varied group. They are the asset managers, the insurance companies, the pension schemes, the hedge funds, the family offices. But in terms of the challenges that they face, the themes are broadly similar. The challenges, I would say, are regulation, an increasing amount and changing regulation, and that's a challenge faced by all our clients, whether it's Solvency II and similar solvency tests around the world and the reporting requirements that go with those, or whether it's AIFMD for hedge funds and reporting there, or if it's counterparty risk and focus on that and CVA requirements, or OTC clearing, again driven by regulation. And then as well as the regulatory drivers, there's also just a broadly greater requirement for reporting for our clients. So their clients are looking for better and more granular reporting of risk and performance on the portfolios, and they're getting increasingly sophisticated. So those greater reporting requirements is a theme that we see amongst all our clients. And then probably thirdly, a big challenge really is the markets and what's been happening in the markets. And for example, the events of 2008, 2009, we saw models of credit really pushed to the limits, and credit spread models driven by ratings really not working, and clients are looking for models of particularly issuer exposure and credit spread exposure that will hold up and have been adjusted to reflect the changes in the markets and how things have developed over the last few years.
That's great, Lindsey. I see all the challenges. So what have your clients been looking at over the past year, 6 months to a year?
Yeah, well, there are many different ways that we help our clients, but in terms of the things they've been asking for, the broad themes and what they're looking for tends to be a flexible platform with analytics that they can understand and which we can explain and support, and which can be tailored to their needs, both in terms of the analytics and the way they're pulled together into reports. And this is, generally across all of their positions in their portfolios, so bonds, CDS, swaps, equities, equity derivatives, FX, commodities, and increasingly infrastructure and property, and being able to see their risk and their performance across all of these things, then with granular risk information so that they can drill down and see the VAR or the tracking error by individual security and how it's exposed to a spread curve, and how maybe the movement in interest rates or inflation has driven performance on that individual asset, and then aggregating that back up to see how that performance looks on the overall portfolio versus its benchmark. But it's really a flexible platform to meet the analytical reporting requirements and then to be able to drill down and see how that looks.
So that's what they've been looking at. And how do you expect the risk management landscape to evolve moving forward over the next year, over the next 5 years?
Well, it's a truism, I think, that the only certainty really is change. And I think, whatever happens with the markets, with regulation, with client requirements, I think that what risk managers and portfolio managers are going to be looking for, and increasingly looking for, is flexible and responsive risk and performance tools that meet the evolving landscape. So I think there'll be more and more need for desktop tools that you can use to drill down and see components of risk, components of performance, and relate them together to see how it all ties together.
So what do you think the biggest opportunities are for risk managers moving forward?
Opportunities? Well, broadly I would say their opportunities come from helping their organisations and indeed their clients adapt to the changing environment. And I think risk always has needed to be and still needs to be, and increasingly needs to be, front and centre as a key part of the investment decision-making process. So risk managers, portfolio managers looking at risk budgeting, for example, liability-driven investment, similar example, taking risk into account. And I think risk managers are increasingly involved there and are increasingly getting involved with providing input to fund marketing, demonstrating to end clients an understanding of positioning and how that leads to performance.
So where then would you advise them to invest their most effort?
Obviously, the concentration of efforts has to be in the core tasks of understanding the risk and how that leads to outcomes, and assessing and understanding the portfolios and that they are meeting all their statutory and regulatory requirements. But then in terms of concentrating efforts for opportunities, I think broadening out the role of risk, so it's not just a siloed role, but really looks at the whole portfolio management process more broadly.
Well, you have a really complex remit, and it's a really interesting perspective. But now let's cut back to TSAM. What are you looking to get out of TSAM? Why have you chosen TSAM?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we found, and our experience with TSAM is that many of the key decision makers from our clients, so the asset managers, the insurance companies, the pension schemes, hedge funds and family offices, are there, and we've met them at TSAM. So for us, that's a key decision driver. And then also for us, it's very important that people are looking at risk and performance using similar market drivers and similar categories, and ideally, efficiently using the same platform. So for us, the fact that risk and performance are in the same stream is very advantageous as well.
Fantastic. Lindsey, thank you very much for coming by today.
Oh, thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you very much.